June 22nd, 1941. Operation Barbarossa. The German invasion of Russia begins. It is a surprise attack in violation of the non-aggression pact between Germany and the Soviet Union. Luftwaffe pilots are commanded to destroy the enemy on the ground and in the air. It is a quiet Sunday morning. The Russians are taken completely by surprise. Russia becomes a killing ground.
I will remember that day for the rest of my entire life. Beginning at 4:25 on the morning of the 22nd of June 1941, about 50 German bombers made strikes against our airfield. You can only imagine the kinds of horrors that took place on the airfield. That nightmarish hour is really very hard to imagine, even now, but I will try to tell you about it. There were fountains of earth, bombs exploding, oil exploding, the warehouses exploding, the planes were on fire. Then, by the afternoon, the pilots and the technical people started arriving. Many of them had their hair turned white from fear, and some of them even began to stutter from fear as well.
The Wehrmacht smashes towards Leningrad in the north, Stalingrad in the south, and the ultimate prize, Moscow. The Red Army is in full retreat. The Red Air Force is no match for superior Luftwaffe planes and pilots.
They were very gritty fighters in air combat, and a huge number of beginners, which always flew in large packs, and were of practically no consequence as opponents.
Colonel Johannes Steinhoff, Luftwaffe. On his 900th mission near war's end, he will survive the fiery crash of one of the world's first jet fighters. 176 kills.
I began to feel sorry for some of these guys. There was an incident where I was pursuing a low-flying MiG, and it tried to escape between some trees. And I thought, well, should I push the button? Because I really felt sorry for this miserable wretch. And then I did it. They were very brave. In the first day of the war with Russia, I saw bombing units who were down to the last plane, and the last bomber flew until he was shot down.
Major Erich Hartmann, Luftwaffe. The Russians call him the Black Devil. He will tally 352 confirmed kills and ranks as the world's top ace.
Polenkrieg war in 8 Tagen erledigt durch absolute Luftherrschaft.
Poland was finished in 8 days through air attacks. Then France was finished in 6 weeks through absolute mastery of the skies. Then Norway in 2.5 weeks, and then Russia. And in the first 3 months, we had an absolute mastery of the skies. As far as I was concerned, the Russians were finished.
In the first week, 4,000 Soviet planes are destroyed. The Red Army falls back. Hitler believes victory will be his by winter. The Russian giant is on its knees. Frantic, the Soviets move factories and build airfields far beyond the Ural Mountains, out of range of Luftwaffe bombers. New and better fighters roll off production lines. New pilots are hastily trained. In defense of the motherland, the Russians make a fierce stand at Moscow's gates. Incredibly, the German advance is stopped. Russia finds a powerful ally. Winter begins. It is a vicious, merciless onslaught of ice and snow. Adolf Galland, 4 times decorated by Hitler himself. He is the Luftwaffe's youngest general, 104 kills.
The winter and the mud was a tremendous obstacle. Then came the colds and the wind and the snow. And these were tasks for which the Luftwaffe was not at all prepared.
You had to have special equipment in order to warm up the engines, to warm them up quickly. That, of course, was very hard.
And there were problems for the pilots too, like taking off and landing in deep snow, for instance. Today's pilots couldn't possibly imagine the conditions under which we had to fly. The mud, the snow, rocks.
It was also a bad winter for us too, and anyway, who starts a war without knowing what weather conditions he's facing in that particular country?
As winter tightens its grip, Red Air Force pilots keep coming. They take a vow to fight to the last drop of blood and breath and to conquer, forward to victory.
We fighter pilots at that time, we didn't think about death. We only thought about defending our motherland, because that is the way we were brought up.
The fierce Russian resolve and brutal Russian winter take their toll. Hitler is forced to halt the advance on Moscow. The Russians stand ready as Hitler turns his eyes south to Stalingrad.